Hi guys, today I wanted to do a session on the dangers of chronic cardio. Now, as an ultramarathon athlete, I know, that you have some goals. You might want to run a marathon, an ultramarathon, half marathon, something like that. And there's a reason for your sporting, ambitions and so on. But I also have a duty to explain to you some of the dangers of chronic cardio and some of the things that can happen. Now, when you start off in training and you're new to, say, running or cycling, then very often you'll get a really good response from the body. At the beginning you'll start losing weight, you'll be getting fitter, your body has got a new stimulus, and so it starts to change and starts to react. Now that's all great at the beginning, and you have that weight loss and you think, wow, I'm onto something here, right, this is great if weight loss is one of your goals. But as time goes on and you start to increase the amount of endurance training you do and the distances that you're doing, then your body starts to become more metabolically efficient. And what happens then, or can happen, is that your body goes, right, okay, she's running longer and longer distances, I'm going to start storing fat, and usually this happens around your middle. And if you look up long distance running, as images on the internet, you'll see often a lot long distance runners have a little paunch of fat around the middle, much to their annoyance, and I certainly always struggle with this. Because the body is going, right, I'm going to hold on to the fat reserves and I'm going to actually get rid of some muscle, because muscle becomes then a dead weight, and this type of training, it's actually not really beneficial, and you start to you'll be carrying around excess load, if you like, and the body goes, well, for this type of exercise we don't want so much muscle, we'll get rid of it. Now that means that your body is becoming catabolic. And when you're in that state, then your body suppresses the release of human growth hormone and testosterone, which are your anabolic sort of hormones that help you grow and repair and all of this sort of thing. So that's not something that you really, really want to happen. So what you want to be doing is including doing some HIIT training is really, really important. So not just long, slow, steady state cardio, but doing high intensity, short trainings, ideally with some strength training combined, so body weight workouts, resistance workouts, this sort of thing, at a high intensity for short periods of time. And this will get you into an anabolic state and increase your fitness, increase your fat burning potential. And if you're doing that a couple of times a week, this can counteract some of the long distance endurance stuff that you're doing. And especially if weight is one of the reasons why you do this, and this is certainly one of the reasons I started doing running in the very beginning, was to lose weight, and initially, as I said, that works. But when I was running through New Zealand, and I've said this a couple of times before, and I was doing 500 kilometres a week, 500, I was putting on weight, and I was getting a real paunch, and I was losing muscle mass flat stick. And what was happening there is that my body was in an absolute emergency state, of course, and I was putting on fat, and the body was holding on to it. So this is something just to be aware of, and you want to be in an anabolic state regularly as well, so that you're actually building your body, not just tearing it down. If you look at a lot of older runners, you'll see they're really sort of dried out, leathery, often very skinny with a paunch around the middle, and they've lost a lot of muscle mass. So we want to be able to counteract that and keep our muscle mass. Over the age of 40, we're losing about 200 grams of muscle mass a year on average. So we want to be, again, counteracting that and doing strength workouts. And this is one of the reasons why at Running Hot we include strength workouts and mobility workouts. And also for the load that you're doing, you want to be strong enough to withstand the miles. Now, I wanted to talk about something called Philippides myocardial infarction. Now, this is a pretty rare thing, but people who are doing extreme distances, and I know a lot of you guys are doing that in my friend circle and my followers, you can have problems with your heart when you have this sort of heart tissue. Now, there's a famous case of this, Micah True, who was, talked about in the book Born to Run, an incredible ultra distance runner, suddenly died at the age of 58 while out for a 12-mile run. When they did an autopsy, they found that he had an enlarged heart and scar tissue on the heart. And this is Philippides cardiopathy was named after Philippides, who's one of the Greek legendary figures back in the Greek days, who ran 175 miles and then dropped dead afterwards. And this was what they believe happened to him, and that's why it's been called this. Now, this isn't a real common thing, but it can be amongst ultramarathon runners, something that you need to be aware of. You can get tested to see how your heart is, and I would suggest if you're over 40 and you've been doing this for a fair while, it might pay to get your heart checked out, make sure you've got no scar tissue and things happening there. You don't want to suddenly drop dead at the end of a marathon somewhere. And it's a danger that is present and needs to be considered as well. So I just wanted to share a little bit of the danger. So if you're wanting weight loss, when people come to us at Running Hot Coaching and they want to run a marathon, the first thing I ask them, do you want to run a marathon or do you want to lose weight? Because if you're wanting to lose weight, then that's a completely different program than a marathon training program. They're not actually, contrary to popular belief, running and doing cardio is not the best fat shredding exercise. If your goal is the sporting achievement of running a marathon, then great, let's go for it, let's do that. But if your goal is fat loss, and toning and all of that sort of thing, then there are much more efficient ways to do that, and we can again help you at Running Hot Coaching with either of those goals, whether you're wanting to do a 100 miler or whether you're wanting to get ripped and lean and look like a mean machine. So there are lots of ways to optimize fat loss, and it goes way beyond calories in and calories out. There's a whole lot of different things at play, and the more you understand about your physiology, the more informed you are, the better chance you'll have of success. And chronic cardio is definitely not the shortest path to weight loss or indeed to a really sexy toned body. So I just wanted to share that with you today. I hope that's been helpful. I hope it gives you a bit of food for thought. It's not to put ultramarathon running down or that, obviously that'd be a bit hypocritical of me after doing hundreds of them. But I just want you to be informed about the dangers and some of the things that can happen in your body and the changes that can happen. If you enjoyed this sort of content, then please come and check out my podcast. I have a free weekly podcast called Pushing the Limits that I'd love to you to subscribe to. You can get it on iTunes, you can get it on Stitcher, Libsyn, all of the podcast apps basically, or via my website at lisatamati.com. And I have some of the greatest minds on things like biohacking, alternative health, scientists with the latest research, athletes, incredible comeback stories, mindset coaching, all of this sort of stuff. And I really enjoy, I've been doing that show now for 5 years, and it's one of my core content pieces that I put out every week, because it's long form and it's really getting in depth to some of the topics. Next week I have one on ozone therapy, which I'm really getting into at the moment, so check that out. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it was beneficial to you, and we'll see you again soon. Reach out with any questions you've got.